And that's not how it's going to go in the future. And so he has to do whatever he's going to do with him. And the point is, he's raising up another, so it doesn't even matter. And the faster that you come into agreement with being content that it just doesn't even matter and he's just not for you, it's not going to change. You sitting there wanting to be with him or trying to figure out why and thinking you need closure or whatever, it's not going to change God's will. God used what the devil meant for evil for good, meaning he used you being demonically attached to him because he knew that it was going to lead you to Christ. Because you was trying to figure that thing out, and you started crying out to God, and you started picking up your Bible, and you started reading the scriptures about marriage, and you was just really trying to pray for this man, cover him, lift him up in prayer. If he was suffering from depression and anxiety, you was praying over him, you were interceding on his behalf, you were doing all of those things. What he didn't know is a lot of your prayers were saving him. While he was out in the world doing what he wanted to do, disrespecting you or whatever, God used you to intercede on his behalf, and a lot of that was saving him because nobody else was doing it. Whoever phase he was in, they were not doing what you were doing. But because you still had compassion in your heart and love in your heart, God is honoring all of that right now. And he's saying, because of you still feeling like that in your heart when you were being treated otherwise by the person, I will give you a man that is deserving of that. Not a man that rebels against you. Not a man that still walks away from you and acts like he doesn't care about how long he goes without talking to you, even though you don't do anything but show him kindness, compassion, understanding, or whatever, up there nurturing him and babying him every time he goes into a depressive state. It's always a sob story. It's always attention seeking. It's always somebody did something to him, and this is why you haven't heard from him in a while. No, he was out there doing what he wanted to do up in somebody's face. And God said he about to get exactly what he was looking for. Let him go. Do what he want to do with who he want to do it with. Let him go be in exactly who face he wants to be in. And let him get exactly what he was trying to get you to do from them. And let them live the life that they're going to live. Because, baby, God has raised up another who is better than him. And it says it in the scripture. And God explained to this man why. He said, you didn't do that. You did not do what I told you to do. God don't ask us to do anything. He said, you didn't do what I told you to do. And God didn't even give him a second chance. So that's why when he had the opportunity, when both of y'all was free and clear and single, and he had the open opportunity to be with you and handle you like he had sense and handle you with respect and whatever, and he did not do what God asked him to do, that's what God is like, no. That's when he lost it. Like he had a chance. He intentionally blew the chance because he told himself he would get another one and another one and another one because you love him so bad. And then he also felt like you were like too good to be true. He was arrogant, but he also I can't even explain it. Lord help me. He was arrogant because it was like a defense mechanism or a coping mechanism to beat you to the punch of him actually feeling like you're too good for him. You come with a lot that he's not able to maintain or keep up with, or he felt like he was going to disappoint you because he had disappointed himself in so many ways that you don't even know about. And he was saying, she doesn't know that I'm irresponsible and I feel lost all of the time. And I have moments where I can't even get up out of bed. She doesn't really know that about me. I'm not good with my finances. She doesn't know that about me. I already know she expects things from me and she thinks highly of me. He liked that. He liked that you think he liked that you thought highly of him. So he didn't correct your way of thinking. Instead, he would disappear and things like that when it would get hectic and he thought he was going to have to like step up to the plate. That scared him off because he was a coward. But God told him to do something regarding you. He placed an instruction on him and he did what he wanted to do. And because of that, God told him, you will never see her again. You will never talk to her again. And you know how God told him that? You know how God made sure of that? Because he's going to take the desire out of your heart. You're not going to want to talk to this person. You're not going to want to see them. But it's not even going to come from a place of bitterness or anger or disappointment. It's literally going to be like you never met them before and you're like, oh yeah, I know him from back in the day. You're going to forget that you was even that pressed. Or that you're going to forget that you even was attracted to him. This is what God is going to tell him. She don't even want you no more, big dog. You don't have another chance. I told you what to do when you had the opportunity and you wanted to play with it because you was arrogant. And you liked the way she was making you feel because you felt like she thought highly of you. And you knew you was a joke. And I'm not saying they are an actual joke. I'm saying the facade they was playing was a joke. Instead of being honest, they're trying to make it seem like they a big dog and they were not. And I wasn't even looking at him like that. I thought that he had... I mistook his quietness and him being laid back or whatever as him being like a gentle-hearted man. A mild-mannered man. A man that minds his business. A man that doesn't do too much. A man that's not an attention seeker. No. I just fooled myself into thinking he's just sweet and he's just quiet, and sometimes he just gets exhausted in his spirit because of his childhood trauma. And because I've been knowing him for a long time. I was not there the entire time, but I met him a long time ago. And he was around long enough for me to see background information about him. So that's the excuse that I placed on the whole situation as we got older and was still trying to be with each other. I gave the reason that behind his behavior as he's just exhausted in his spirit and in his heart because of all the things that he has had to endure throughout his life and such. And he's just scared that he's going to get hurt again because he has a spirit of rejection and abandonment on him and blah, blah, blah. The enemy was using those spirits to then transfer over to me, and then a spirit of rejection and abandonment got placed on me because he kept rejecting and abandoning me without using any words. It was a bunch of ghosting. And that could easily turn into you feeling like you're not good enough. This person doesn't even look at you like you're worth a conversation. This person doesn't look at you like you're worth them coming to visit. Whatever. it's not even worth you racking your brain about why he doing what he doing, because it's not your husband. And God is raising up another. Be joyous, be glad in your heart, because the good news is God is raising up another that is better than him. And know that God gave him an opportunity, and God knew he was going to blow it, but it was all to teach him a lesson. That was the reason that y'all met. The cat's out the bag. If you was ever trying to figure it out, because I said, God, why did you allow all this to happen? What was the purpose? If I wasn't supposed to be with him, why did you let me endure so much pain and sorrow behind him? All for nothing. God said it was all for nothing. You loved him so much that you wanted that to work, and you was trying to figure out whatever, and then you wanted to be prepared to be a good wife and to be a good partner, that you wanted to know how to be a biblical wife. He didn't even understand how I was getting prepared for him, because whoever my husband was going to be regardless, I take that seriously. And I'm not here to hurt my husband and be a person that brings trauma and chaos into his life. So I was like, now that I know who my husband is, I need to know how to steward this marriage well and whatever. And handle, I'm up there studying or remembering what I have learned about him, and I'm like, okay, you gotta be careful with how you say things. You can't hurt his feelings get hurt fast, blah 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 blah. I'm doing all of this stuff. God did all of that to show me what type of wife I am going to be. He was like, because now that I'm looking at it, he was like, even though that wasn't your actual husband, look how compassionate you were, and how, what's the word, attentive you were to what you felt like his needs were going to be when y'all got married. You paid attention to what triggers him, what would make him feel offended or insulted or whatever, and what makes him happy, what makes him feel nurtured, So God is like, you doing all of this actually still prepared you for your actual husband, so it wasn't in vain. You were doing it for the wrong person, but not for the wrong reason. And it's not in vain, because you still learned it. It's still there. It's still implanted in you now permanently. It's not going anywhere. What you learned is just going to be applied to a different person. But you still needed to learn it, because guess what? The wrong man prepared me for the right one. Me trying to get to the wrong man actually led me to the right one. Because preparation was preparation. It doesn't matter the motivation behind it. That's what God is getting me to see. He said, oh no, it wasn't in vain. Because what the devil meant for evil, I meant for good. The devil meant for you to just stay bound and desiring to be with him and only wanting it to be him and telling yourself you ain't never gonna love nobody like this again. No. God is like, this is not no long lost ancient love. Y'all was loved in the past life, and it's Hancock, and it's just resistance. Every time y'all try to get together, y'all can't get it together, and it's a twin flame and a runner chaser situation. Whoever is listening to that new age tarot card reading, twin flame, karmic soul, karmic match, whatever, whoever listens to that mess, put it down. That's divination. God had to teach me that. I didn't know no better. I was thinking me and him was twin flames. He was the runner, I was all this crazy stuff. Anyway, God said, this is not that. I will never allow my daughters to suffer like that, waiting on a man to treat them like they worth something. Do you really think, this is God, do you really think I have you sitting there while this man just goes out in the world throwing a tantrum, doing what he wants to do, treating you like he's going to give you the silent treatment, ghost you, whatever, until he feels like coming back, and then when it seems like you're complying to his needs, his ways, his order, that's when y'all are going to get married. No. So you can live with that secret sorrow in your mind for the rest of y'all marriage, but you don't want to bring it up, but you'll never forget how he made you feel. You'll never forget how he was treating you. God said, I will never, that's not from me. I don't care what nobody say. When I see these little fluffies, I be knowing that that's the Holy Spirit coming through, like confirming, yes, you are speaking my word the way I want you to speak it. God said, if you were ever wondering if this man is from God, God said he would never allow you to sit there while somebody is making you feel any type of abuse, any type of psychological, emotional abuse. He did not send that person to you. God may make two people go into a separation, but it won't be because of foolishness. You'll understand it. And if it doesn't come with any type of peace and it comes with a bunch of confusion, it is not from God. You know you're not feeling no peace about the situation. And you know you will feel very relieved if you could just wake up tomorrow or take a nap today and wake up and not have any type of feelings for him. You would feel very relieved and you know it. That's how you know it's not from God. This man is not from God. It's a demonic attachment. And pray to God about what type of fast you need to go on and how long. And he will break this off of you. So, this is the word. This is the scripture that God had me reference. I didn't reference it. He actually gave me the scripture and then he gave me the revelation to go with the scripture as I was reading it. Because this scripture actually is not about husbands and it's not about marriage. But that is how God gave it to me. So, this is from 1 Samuel chapters 15 and 16. And this is when the Lord rejects Saul as king over Israel. So it says, I'm going to read 1 Samuel chapter 15, verses 1 through 7. Okay, it says, Samuel said to Saul, I am the one the Lord sent to anoint you king over his people Israel. Now keep in mind, you represent Israel. And Saul is going to be anointed king over Israel. Okay, so it says, Samuel said to Saul, I am the one the Lord sent to anoint you king over his people Israel. So listen now to the message from the Lord. This is what the Lord Almighty says. I will punish the Amalekites for what they did to Israel when they waylaid them as they came up from Egypt. Now go, attack the Amalekites and totally destroy all that belongs to them. Do not spare them. Put them to death, men and women, children and infants, cattle and sheep, camels and donkeys. Let me stop right there. That's chapter 15, verses 1 through 3. God gave him a clear and concrete instruction regarding you, where he let him know that something was attacking you, or someone was attacking you, or multiple people were attacking you in some type of way. Like the enemy was causing you to experience warfare. God told this man about this, and he told him to go and handle it. And he said, don't just handle it a little bit, kill the whole thing. Handle the whole situation. This is what came with God anointing him to be king over Israel. This is what came with it. He said the Amalekites are about to come attack the Israelites, the people that I've given you reign over. Protect your people. And you need to destroy all of the people that are coming to attack your people. So, and do not spare anybody, not even the animals. Don't spare the children. Don't spare the infants. And do not spare any of the cattle, the sheep, the camels, or the donkeys. Clear. That was clear. It's right there written. God told his man to completely and utterly destroy whatever was bothering you. And do not spare anybody. If he needed to say something, if he needed to help remove you, whatever. You don't even know that God told him to do this. You weren't there. He knows though. God told him clearly to help you with something. Don't help a little bit. Don't give her enough just to get by. Enough help or whatever just to get by. No. Handle it. That means if he didn't have it, God was telling him you need to figure out how to go get what you need to give to her. This is not a partnership. This is not she's going to help. She's going to help you help her. No, you need to go and handle it. God didn't go to any of the Israelites and say, okay, here's some tools for you to defend yourself. No. So that's not what this was. God gave him clear instruction to do something regarding your protection. Back into it. So Saul summoned the men and mustered them at Telaim, 200,000 foot soldiers and 10,000 from Judah. This man, your person that you was attached to, they do stuff for show. They acted like they was getting all the tools and getting all the plans together and coming up with a plan to help and whatever, just to make themselves feel bad, just to make themselves think that they're doing what God told them to do. Back to it. Saul went to the city of Amalek and set an ambush in the ravine. Then he said to the Kenites, go away, leave the Amalekites, so that I do not destroy you along with them. For you showed kindness to all of the Israelites when they came up out of Egypt. So this man acts like he gets all of this stuff to make it look like he about to do something. Then he goes and announces it to other people like he about to, like, oh, y'all better move out the way because the way I'm about to come through, you don't want to be nowhere around. So it's all talk. It's just a bunch of show. He's not, anyway. Okay, so it says, so the Kenites moved away from the Amalekites. Then Saul attacked the Amalekites all the way from Havilah to Shur, near the eastern border of Egypt. He took Agag, king of the Amalekites, alive, and all his people he totally destroyed with the sword. So he took Agag, king of the Amalekites, alive, and all his people he totally destroyed with the sword. But Saul and the army spared Agag and the best of the sheep and cattle, the fat calves and the lambs, everything that was good. These they were unwilling to destroy completely, but everything that was despised and weak, they totally destroyed. God told him to get rid of all of it, get you completely out of harm's way by getting rid of whatever it was that was trying to attack you. This man acted like he was getting all the tools, all of the soldiers, everything that was needed to protect you. And then he told people, yeah, y'all better get out of the way when I come through, because the way da-da-da-da-da-da. And then when push came to shove and the war came, He saved the king. So he said the ringleader that was tormenting you, whatever it was, it could have been your job, it could have been your car was breaking down, it could have been your family, your mama, your daddy, some of your siblings was tormenting you. They knew it. And whoever was attacking you the hardest, they didn't touch that. They didn't try to contend with that. They spared it. He spared the king of the Amalekites. He spared the king of the people that God told him to destroy. Don't spare nobody. He spared the ringleader, the king. That means this man is scared to go up against the devil. Because the Amalekites were the people that were up under King Agag. Agag, however you say his name. It's A-G-A-G. And it said, he also saved the sheep and cattle and the fat calves and lambs, everything that was good. He also kept what he felt like looked good, and told himself that he's going to save that to offer it back to God. Told himself that it's okay for him not to kill those things or destroy those things because they don't look like they're doing anything wrong. They look healthy to me. And so I'm going to explain to God that, well, you should be proud of me because there's nothing wrong with those. And I'm going to offer them back to you by letting you know that I didn't destroy the things that still looked like they were in good standing. It also says, these they were unwilling to destroy completely, but everything that was despised and weak, they totally destroyed. So this man was too weak to destroy the main root of the cause, but he totally destroyed everything that was despised and weak. He only killed and got rid of what was easy to kill and get rid of. And so God said, this man can't rise to the occasion and execute things in the way that he tells him to execute them. And God was testing him to see what he was going to do. But God already knew what he was going to do. God was testing him to get him to see his own self and how weak he is. Why are you messing with my daughter? Why are you even bothering with her? You can't even handle protecting her. But God placed the command for him to fail, and then for God to bring it back to his attention. Look what you just did. I told you to protect her, and you went and did one or two little itty bitty things that were already on their way on out anyways. It said King Saul and all of them soldiers that he got for show. How many soldiers did he get, Lord? 200,000 foot soldiers plus 10,000 from Judah. This man got 210,000 foot soldiers. I'm going back to your person. 210,000. I'm doing that because it's a bug and I keep shooting it with his hand. 210,000 for what? You got this big army of men for what? And killed all of the weak. Killed everything that was weak. Things that they didn't have to put effort into killing. All of that was despised, that nobody wanted. This man only likes what's easy. And if it's too difficult or it's causing him discomfort or it's inconvenient to him, he gonna run away from it. And you're one of the things. That's where the ghosting and stuff came in. You come with too much. It's too much. You come with too many. God is telling me to do too much with you. I can't do it. I ain't got it. God showed him that you needed protecting, and he did a little something, and then wanted to act like that was enough to fool God into believing that he actually carried out the assignment. So, let me read that part again. It says, then Saul attacked the Amalekites all the way from, and he liked to make a big scene about it too, like he really doing something, because everything he does is for show. But he's not really doing anything effective, anything meaningful. If you didn't carry the assignment all the way out, you might as well have not done anything at all, sir. So then it says, then Saul attacked the Amalekites all the way from Havilah to Shur, near the eastern border of Egypt. He took Agag, king of the Amalekites, alive, and all his people he totally destroyed with the sword. But Saul and the army spared Agag and the best of the sheep and cattle, the fat calves and lambs, everything that was good. These they were unwilling to destroy completely, but everything that was despised and weak they totally destroyed. Baby, what are we going to do? What am I supposed to do with that? Why are you here? Why are you king and you can't wipe out what God tells you to wipe out? And you think you're about to be my king, and you can't. When it's time for you to protect our household from whatever it needs protecting from, you can't look the giant in the face, the king in the face, and slay him. But you want to bully up on things that can't fight you back, and act, and then tell yourself that you did something, and then having her the one to be celebrated after that. That's why God said, what are you doing? And I'm about to get into that too. It says, then, now that's chapter 15, verses 1 through 7. Now I'm about to read verses 10 through 23. It says, then the word of the Lord came to Samuel. Samuel is the one that delivered this instruction to Saul, because God told Samuel to tell Saul to kill the Amalekites. It says, then the word of the Lord came to Samuel. I regret that I have made Saul king. God regrets that he ever let this man have access to you. You are his anointed people. You are his anointed daughter. And he regrets that he ever let this man have access to you. He knew he was going to be goofy to start with. But he was like, you blatantly just did what you wanted to do. Now we about to see why he did that. Okay. I regret that I have made Saul king, because he has turned away from me and has not carried out my instructions. Samuel was angry, and he cried out to the Lord all that night. Early in the morning, Samuel got up and went to meet Saul. But he was told Saul had gone to Carmel. There he had set up a monument in his own honor, and has turned and gone down to Gilgal. When Samuel reached him, Saul said, the Lord bless you. I have carried out the Lord's instructions. Big silly. But Samuel said, what then is this bleating of sheep in my ears that you didn't kill? What is this lowing of cattle that I hear that you didn't kill? But you telling me you carried out the Lord's instructions. What are you talking about? Saul answered, the soldiers brought them back from the Amalekites. They spared the best of the sheep and cattle to sacrifice to the Lord your God, but we totally destroyed the rest. Enough, Samuel said to Saul. Let me tell you what the Lord said to me last night about you. Tell me, Saul said. Oh, you like to hear it? Here it go. Samuel said, although you were once small in your own eyes, because that's what this man's problem is, he's insecure. And he likes to overcompensate and do things so everybody can see him, but he ain't doing nothing because he's a coward. Although you were once small in your own eyes, did you not become the head of the tribes of Israel? So God has given this person blessings. God has given this person things to be grateful for, and it's not enough for them. So they're still insecure and arrogant and want to be seen. But they act like they don't. They act like they're quiet and gentle and laid back. But they're an attention seeker. And I'm not saying they quiet and like sneaky and they might be, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they know to pretend like they don't seek attention, but they do, because it's actually embarrassing to them that they crave attention the way that they do. They don't do it openly and where you can tell that that's what they're doing, but they actually crave attention and they want their name to be praised. They want validation and recognition and acknowledgement from man. And this is a lot of the reason why they have been disobedient to certain instruction God has placed on them. They feel like they're not going to get the glory from it because they don't care about God getting the glory. They're like, what am I going to get out of it? That's not a big enough reward for me. People aren't going to know that I did it. So God has given this person chance after chance. I'm not talking about with you. He gave them one chance with you. And when they blew that, it never got back right. You might have tried to give them another chance or wanted them to give you another chance, however you was looking at it. But the fact of the matter is, God gave him a chance with you. And once he blew it, whenever that was it. You just didn't know all of that was going on. So when you called yourself giving it another chance, God had already decided, oh no, I told you, I gave you an instruction and you did not do what I told you to do. You did what you wanted to do. And then you had a nerve to go to wherever, Carmel, and set up a monument in your own name. Set up a monument in your own honor so everybody can celebrate what you did. Because that was the whole reason you did it. You want to be celebrated. When God broke this down to me, I said, and I look back on the person, I said, you know what? That is right. I just didn't look at it like that. He does like attention. And love to give a good old sob story and get people to feel sorry for him. And act like he's just been so hurt and downtrodden his whole life. And people keep hurting him. And people keep cheating on him. And people keep leaving him. And people keep abandoning him. And people keep doing him wrong. And people keep betraying him. But then he turned around and did it to you. Baby, you treat people like that. And that's why you get treated like that. Stop the cap, like they say. I had a dream where he kept complaining to me. We were in the backseat of a car. This is one of the millions of dreams I had about him. And I was so annoyed in that dream with him. This is how I should have known God was bringing me up out of that. Because I started having dreams where I was annoyed with him. It was plenty of dreams where he acted like he was annoyed with me. But then the table started turning. And I started like putting my foot down in a lot of dreams. In this one, I was looking at my phone sitting in the middle in the back. And he was sitting on the next to me. And he kept complaining to me about some girl. But me and him were not together in the dream. So I didn't really care that he was talking about another girl. And he was like, but she said this to me. And she said that to me. And she said this. Da, 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 da. I looked up from out my phone. I said, but you do the same thing. I was so tired of him complaining to me in that dream about people doing stuff to him. Because in waking life, that's how I felt. But I just didn't say nothing. I said, he's always complaining about somebody hurting him or mistreating him or doing him wrong or betraying him, but you're doing the same thing to me. And it wasn't just about me. I'm saying if he does it to me, then I know he does it to other people. Where you're treating people with no regard that didn't do anything to you, but you act like you so real. And I want everybody to know this is not where I told myself he felt a certain way about me and I was just living in delusion. No, this is I'm talking about people that were just completely deceived. This person then came and said, I love you for no reason, said it first. I love you. We should have got married. We should have been married with children. I want you to be the mother of my children. Can we have a baby? Would you like to have my... So this is not me saying, because people come on here, well, that was you. That sound like you told yourself that, whatever. No, I did not. No, I did not. No, I did not. This came from out of this man's mouth. And so, what was the point I was even making from that? Oh, him saying that and then doing the opposite by going forever without talking to me. I don't even know what's going on. I'm like, is he suicidal? Like, the devil had me thinking all type of stuff. I'm like, is he suicidal? Is he depressed? Like, da, da, da. And I'm praying over him, and I'm praying the spirit of depression off of him, and this, that, and the third. Baby, he's ghosting you because he up in somebody else's face. Because you won't do what he wants you to do as far as fornication. Let's just be real. That's what he wants to do. Yes, he would like to do it with you, but since you won't do it, he went and found somebody else to do it. He wanted to go ahead and start a family, but he wanted to do it out of God's will. You could have been with him. You could have had a baby with him. He would have done it. He just would have did it out of God's will. And since you weren't going for that, this is why he went on about his business. But instead of him saying that, because he thought he was going to be able to come back whenever he felt like it. He thought he was going to be able to come back. This is why he never would say, I don't want to be with you. I don't look at you like that. I used to have feelings for you, but I don't now. No, he said, I wanted you. I always wanted you, and I still do. These people were saying stuff like that to you, and then they would disappear, and you didn't understand why. Because they just said they love you, they want to marry you, they want you to be the mother of their children, da, 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 da. So this is why you were getting confused. Baby, it's game. But because if people say game, recognize game, I don't run game on people, and I don't play games. So... But, okay, yeah, we do need to recognize it so we don't get played. But we don't need to engage in it and run game on people. But because we had so much compassion and we were being authentic and not trying to play games or whatever, we didn't see that that's what was going on. So we just going by what they're saying, but they're showing us the opposite. And then it's leaving us hurt and sad. And confused. Like I said, I'm like, is he suicidal? Is he depressed? Because he always acting like he depressed. No. No. He's up in somebody's face and leaving you on the back burner. Or telling himself, in the end, he's still going to marry you. That's what he told himself. No, God nipped that in the bud. He said, you will never get with her. You will never marry her. It was never written. We didn't know, me nor him knew that. It was never written nowhere that we would get married. God never even allowed us to date. God wanted me so far away from him, He didn't even make room for us to date. He said, I'm going to send him to different states. You hate long distance relationships, and this is why I never pressed the issue with that. But God was like, no, you don't like long distance relationships. You hate that. You're not going to fornicate. He hates that. So I'm going to cause this conflict where y'all just can't come to like a happy medium or whatever, because it's just deal breakers. You refuse to be in a long distance relationship. He refuses to practice celibacy. And he was willing for 2 seconds. I ain't gonna do him like that. He was willing for 2 seconds. He was like, we can practice and see how it goes. And then he goes to me. So God was like, mm-mm. But anyway, he believed in his own arrogant mind and his own arrogant heart that he still was going to marry you. He's still telling himself that right now. I mean, this man, I don't know what type of person y'all was dealing with, but some of y'all, this man that went out, got him girlfriends. Like, while you didn't know what was going on, you sitting over there praying for him, thinking he's just hurt and he's just in isolation and da-da-da-da-da. No. This man then went back out in the world when he was looking like, you doing too much. You placing too much. You did, you too hard to deal with. God gave him instructions to protect you. And he was like, no, I'll do a little bit. I'll do a little 1-2. And he left. He went out into the world. You sitting up there warring in the spirit for him, interceding on his behalf. Baby, he was up in somebody's face. These men went out and got girlfriends. They got engaged. Some of them got married. Some of them have gotten somebody pregnant. Some of them went and had babies. You don't know nothing about it. You sitting up here waiting on that man. He done ghosted you. Somebody's pregnant right now. This is why I prayed before I put this word out, because I hate to break news like this. But it's going to set you free. God knew one of my rules was, if I ever like somebody or got feelings for them or want to be with them and they're not pursuing me or won't make me their girlfriend or fiance or wife, and I'm in limbo waiting period, I'll never do it again. But back in the day, it would be situations where it was like that. I had 2 situations like that. One was with the person that I'm talking about throughout this video, and then there was another situation. I said to myself, if this boy gets anybody pregnant, we will never be together. That was my rule. I don't want no, like, you had an opportunity to be with me and you weren't, and then you went and got somebody pregnant and you think you get to come back? No. And so that happened once, where I went on about my business, he went on about his business. This not the one that I've been talking about the whole time. It was another person. He went to Atlanta for a few years. I don't know. Then he came back. I had forgotten all about him, wasn't thinking about him. He ran into my brother, and he said, please give your sister my number. Please give your sister my number. Da-da-da. My brother gave me his number. I was not in a rush to even program the number in my phone. He texted my brother. He was like, you didn't give her my number. Because she didn't text me yet. Da-da-da. All this fake urgency, child. He wanted to see if he still got it. He wanted to see if he could come back in Columbia to where I live and see if he still got access to his old roster. That's what that was. So he doing all this. He like, tell her to text me. Tell Steffi to text me. Or call me. I text him. We meet up. He telling me about his life in Atlanta. Not only did he have 1 child, he came back with 3. From 3 different women. There was no question in my mind about whether I wanted to be with him even before this information was revealed to me. I had let that go. I wasn't even thinking about him. But see how God works? and see how God protects you even when you don't know you're being protected. God will create a big blockage between you and a person that he has not ordained for you to be with. Because that person is in the world. That person is rebelling against God. And the wrath that they're about to face and the judgment that they're about to come into, God is gracing you by keeping you away from it. Because this is what this person is deserving of right now. Judgment and whatever. So that's just a funny story. He came back with 3. Because God was like, I'm going to make sure you don't get with him. Because God knew even one child. No, but I had already let him go before he even came back. And this was in 2022. I was like, I ain't say nothing to him or anything to make him feel bad, but I was like, baby, And then I said, I'm glad I don't have no type of romantic attachment to you anymore, because that might have stung. I still wouldn't have been with you, but that might have still hurt my feelings. No, I said, this is exactly what I thought it was going to be. That's exactly why I never even allowed us to date. I would entertain him. We was flirty with each other, but that was it. I had to see what was going. I had to like scope out the scene, and I did it for a few years. He didn't know that I was observing him and watching him. I was like, let me see what he does with his life, because it's giving ghetto. It's giving ghetto. It's giving you gonna have baby mamas. You ain't got none yet, but I could see what was going on. And I said, you're not about to make me one of them. And that's exactly what he did. He came back a few years later, and he had 3 baby mamas. And I said, not me. And so, boom, here go the one that I've been talking about the whole time, who this video is about, basically. Yeah. When he was, y'all, when these people disappear and they go ghost and act like, yeah, life has just been beating me down and I've been going through and such hurt me, and I just, or they'll blame it on their career. Yeah, this journey that I've been on in my career is just, it's a lot, and that's why you don't hear from me, because such and such, basically saying his career is what had him like down in the dumps, because things don't be going as planned, whatever. He'd be up in somebody else's face. Okay? And some of these people have gone and gotten married. Some of these people have gone and gotten engaged. Some of these people are back with their ex. Some of these people are talking to multiple women. Some of these people, but thank God that God is not allowing you to be a part of the circus. You see what I'm saying? Because he's not allowed to do any of that, because he hasn't submitted himself to Christ. So he shouldn't be engaged to nobody. He shouldn't be married to nobody. He shouldn't be entertaining anybody. He shouldn't be dating anybody. He shouldn't be going back to no ex. God doesn't want him touching none of his daughters. But the ones that want to come into agreement with him, those are the ones that came into agreement with him. But you need to thank God for the hedge of protection he has placed around you, because he said you will not be touched by this person. You will not be accessed by this person. I have sent this person into exile, because I gave him an instruction to protect you, and he wanted to do what he wanted to do, and then he wanted to throw himself a parade for doing it. And so for that, let's get back into it. Saul said, let me tell you, for that, Saul said, let me tell you what the Lord said to me last night. Tell me, Saul replied. Samuel said, although you were once small in your own eyes, and that's what your problem is, did you not become the head of the tribes of Israel? God is saying, did I not give you an opportunity with her, with things? The Lord anointed you king over Israel, and he sent you on a mission, saying, go and completely destroy those wicked people, those people that were attacking you, the Amalekites. Wage war against them until you have wiped them out. Not kill what's easy to kill. Not get rid of what's already weak. Not get rid of something that people already didn't want. God said, wage war against them until you have wiped all of them out. Why did you not obey the Lord? Why did you pounce on the plunder and do evil in the eyes of the Lord? But I did obey the Lord, Saul said. I went on the mission the Lord assigned me. I completely destroyed the Amalekites and brought back Agag, their king. How did you complete the mission and then turn around and say, but I brought back the king Agag? You're not making sense. You tell yourself that you did a good deed and you ain't did nothing. And then you want to gaslight people into thinking that you did something so they can celebrate your name to boost your ego. That's what Saul's problem was. Arrogant. The soldiers took sheep and cattle from the plunder, the best of what was devoted to God, in order to sacrifice them to the Lord, your God, at Gilgal. God didn't actually do that. God don't want them funky sacrifices from you. He said, kill them. And Saul replied, I never knew what part of the Bible this scripture came from, but God led me to it. Saul replied and said, does the Lord delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as much as in obeying the Lord? To obey is better than sacrifice. Obedience is better than sacrifice. I never knew which part of the Bible that came from. To obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed is better than the fat of rams. For rebellion is like the sin of divination, witchcraft. That's what divination is, witchcraft. Them tarot cards, twin flame and all of that. Samuel said, for rebellion is like the sin of divination, and arrogance is like the evil of idolatry. Because you have rejected the word of the Lord, he has rejected you as king. Honey, rejoice. He has rejected that man as king over you. That's not your king. Is this your king? No. And you need to be glad. You better rejoice. Because look how irresponsible this man is. God gave him a clear instruction, and he deliberately disobeyed God and did try to throw a party. Built a monument so people can celebrate him. Baby, he can't do that with you. He doesn't have the capacity. He doesn't have the bandwidth. Let me get back into it. Then it says, this is verses 24 through 34. Then Saul said to Samuel, now he want to feel sorry. I have sinned. I violated the Lord's command and your instructions. I was afraid. I was afraid of the men, and so I gave in to them. Now I beg you, forgive my sin and come back with me so that I may worship the Lord. But Samuel said to him, I will not go back with you. You have rejected the word of the Lord, and the Lord has rejected you as king over Israel. So he said it again. He was like, ain't no going back. Ain't no fixing this. Ain't no pleading your way back into God's good graces. Ain't no second chance. You blew it. And just like that, God was like, that's it. So whatever God told him to do pertaining to you, when he didn't do it the way God said to do it, that was it. And this could have been years ago that God closed that door. And it doesn't matter what y'all two tried to do. That's why it won't work. It's never going to work. God said what he said. It's not in his will. You're not supposed to, that's not your husband. And it's not anything you did. He was supposed to protect you and he did not. So you were never, God knew that this man was going to be born to behave like this and everything. You were just his lesson. And he was your lesson. Now you know what not to accept. Now you know what not to tolerate. And now you're going to know what the opposite type of man looks like. Because now you have something to compare it to. You don't know what peace and joy in a man is. In a romantic sense. Because you might have a father or father figures like that. But I'm talking about in a romantic sense. You don't know what having a man that brings you peace and joy and comfort and silence and allowing you to stay in your your softness and your femininity. You don't know what that looks like, but now you're gonna know what it looks like, clear as day, because you've only experienced the opposite from this person. So thank them. And they also were a lesson in, they taught you how to get prepared for who deserves the way that you have gotten prepared. All of this preparation, you think all this preparation and all this effort that you have put into this preparation and your obedience and everything to God, you think God gonna give all of that to this man who won't even obey God? You think God is going to allow all of that good stuff to go to this person who is so undeserving of it? No. Why you got all beat down in your spirit the whole time that you've been in communication with this person? Your self-esteem has been compromised? No.
Where's the ball?